I'm almost done, guys.
It's okay. Take
Oh,
your
it's
time.
all good.
We're just recording this for nothing.
For nothing. No, this is exclusive content.
You don't get every day order a Puffco.
No.
Red Hook.
Are you getting the knife?
Yeah, I am. This is a game changer, guys.
Oh, yeah, these fucking
If I was a
things.
good girlfriend, I would get both of my partners a Puffco knife, but I keep forgetting.
But you did get both your partners.
I did get both my partners a Puffco, though.
You did. Cass just walked in there like a powerful lesbian and bought 2 Puffcos. And, you know,
Where did you
what
buy-
babies want, babies get.
Where
yeah.
did you buy these?
in a fucking bodega. Like, we're such crackheads.
That's why it was $500.
Yeah, we're such crackheads.
You're like, that
We
can't
didn't-
be right. Why is it only 400?
If I would have
here?
just waited and got it on like Planet of the Vapes or whatever the fucking website is that we normally get our discounts, but there'll probably be some
Nice.
good.
I just got it.
Congrats.
Thank you. Amazing. That's a game changer. Now I got to get dabs, though, huh?
A dabble do ya?
A dab will do ya. All right, I got to figure that out.
Yeah. Oh, we'll figure it out together.
Yeah.
Let's work together.
So what's going on with the Dolphins, you ask? Well, all I know is that the Jets are going to sign Aaron Rodgers, so that's a bad thing because they're good with him. That's annoying. I hope he retires. The Dolphins, they're a good team, great coach. Tua, a lot of brain injuries, not great, but it looks like we're rocking with him. I don't know. The Dolphins are.
I respect them and I support them. I support them because of you. They're one of those organizations that from the outside, it just seems
So
a little.
bad.
Yeah.
So bad. The
Kind of
worst.
probably how the Grateful Dead seems to people that aren't in on it. Like just
No, they're bad.
ragtag Bush League,
It's just like shoot yourself in the foot type of vibe. I think the stadium is cursed. It's built on like a Native American
Yeah.
burial site or
Jesus.
something.
I'm
so
a
there's
Mets fan.
really bad-
It's probably very similar to being a Mets fan.
Yeah, Bill is a Mets fan. The thing is like it's tough. But they did well this year. They made the playoffs. I'm not complaining. I just don't want my kids to have to grow up in a world of misery.
The world of the Jets being good.
That would
Imagine
never
if you
happen.
lost your kids to the Jets.
That would never happen.
Okay.
Would that be the worst thing? Did you have a moment when you had kids like it would be the worst if they were X,
I wouldn't let them be.
a Jets fan? That's crossing the line. That's when we'd hear Noah
It
really
could just
lose his
it
shit.
could never happen. Like I would not permit that in my reality. It
Yeah.
could
No,
be
I like
almost
that.
any.
If they ever hear this podcast, they will know exactly how to rebel. Though.
A way to press your
oh, I would
buttons.
disown them.
Yeah.
I would. I that to me because it's just such a bad choice. They're the saddest losers of all time, as far as I can tell.
The Jets?
Yeah, they're just miserable. Crush your soul. George R.R. Martin created Game of Thrones and that whole world because he's a Jets fan. It's the only person who could imagine such suffering and misery is one who's exposed to that. There's the great Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where the guy kills himself and they think it's because he's a Jets fan.
Oh my
It's
God.
It's great. I mean, they're the worst. No.
So it's more about it's not just not liking the organization. It's a mentality that you don't support, and because the mentality comes from
So loserish. It's so loserish.
because even when they win, they're losers or they just lose a lot. Like
They suck.
They're just
like
suck.
a laughing stock. Their defense is actually amazing, and their head coach is pretty good. But they had the worst quarterback last year. This dude Zach Wilson, who's like this young kid who like literally they like had to keep benching him because he was so bad and he was a high pick. They just like they can't get it right. It's just like every sports organization has a vibe. Every single one of them, and it can change over time, but there is a vibe. The Dolphins, unfortunately, were dominant back in the day, and now are just kind of like been floundering for
Ever since Ace Ventura. Pretty
really,
much. Yeah.
really like.
Is that why you started to
curse.
like them?
No, that was just a bonus. I like the Dolphins because I grew up in D.C. outside of it. I wasn't going to be a Redskins fan. I didn't like that whole vibe, even though they were decent back then. Just didn't want to do it. So I decided to open a sports almanac one day and go through all the teams and decide who I wanted to be a fan of. At the same time, because Dan Marino was so good, he would often be on television. and watching him throw the ball.
He was a good-looking
It
dude.
was just like I hadn't like he threw it differently than everyone else. It was so fast. It was so awesome. So I just kind of like fell in love with them. I looked in the sports almanac. I saw that they had been good. I projected many Super Bowls and a great long, happy, harmonious life with the Dolphins, and then from then, just pain. Pain. Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl. Jimmy Johnson took over, gutted the team. Dave Wannstedt, just like every
But you
bad
stayed
thing.
loyal.
Sounds a little like these shit coins.
Yeah, it is in a lot of ways. And so like the thing is like at a certain point, I had invested so much emotion into this team that I can't imagine ceasing being a fan and then having them win a Super Bowl. Like I would kill myself. Like I literally couldn't deal with it. So I'm just on this.
Would you
fucking
feel
train.
like you're the curse if you ceased being
I
a
would
fan?
never
and then,
be.
And
I
then they
threatened
won?
it. There was one time I staked my fandom. It was one time, and my friends will remember this from college. There was a quarterback coming out of the college called Brady Quinn. He was from Notre Dame, and I hated him. He was so bad. I knew he was going to be terrible. It was so obvious. He was like going to be a top 10 pick, and the Dolphins were almost going to take him, and everyone thought he was going to go to them. And I'm like, if they draft Brady Quinn, I quit.
You're
I
out.
won't do it. Like, I'm not doing it. And they didn't. And they still sucked, and they were still terrible. But that's the only time I was really considering not.
It's
being
kind of
a
like
fan.
your religion in a way. You can't fully renounce it. You can, but it's
can't.
always there. Like even me with the
can't.
Mets, like I've tried not to make that Cass's problem.
I
I'm like,
love the Mets.
Yeah, I know. But you see how it could take over our life because, like, I can watch the
I
game
was
and
trying
I'm
to
like,
take it
I
o-
love this beautiful game. I love it.
baseball's amazing.
Cass will watch, and their biggest superstar gets up and he swings and misses once, and she's like, he's an abomination. And I'm like, you're so rough on. She takes out all
I
of
love
her.
it.
If she has any kind of hatred towards men and belittling fucking qualities, it only comes out in that way.
I love that.
It's
Well, they're
she is
getting paid so
so
much money to
hard on these
fucking
guys.
Do you know how
suck.
hard
But like,
baseball is?
that's
I
what I
don't
say
give
to
a
her.
shit.
I'm like, you played baseball. It's the hardest.
You're amazing if you hit the ball 30% of the
You're-
time.
you're an
like a
MVP.
god.
Yeah.
30%, 70% is on your
Failure.
I think
failing.
they should be trying to make some fucking contact. Let me just put it that way.
No, and I agree with you because I mean, it's so funny. Her basic look at it actually makes me think
So
like they
funny.
should adjust some of the things in their approaches. And yeah, I mean, these guys should shorten up their swings. Why is everyone just shooting like for the fences or whatever? We should have your dad on one of these podcasts and talk
He
baseball.
knows a lot
Little-
about baseball.
Little opening day.
Baseball is awesome. It is the most mystical of the
Yes.
sports.
Yeah,
it's
hands
really,
down.
really, really rich. The shape of the field, the diamond, the positions. It's the
The
1-to-1,
numbers.
the numbers. It's like that's the thinking man's sport, and
Yeah.
it will always probably be like that. Football is war. It is taking over territory. It is penetrating and scoring, and it has a blitz in it, which comes from blitzkrieg. It's
Yeah.
like Nazi, like it's corrupt to its core. The owners are essentially these 32 men of evil backgrounds who hide behind this antitrust shield. It's fucked up, but goddamn, this is exciting. I love it
It's
so
the best.
much.
Is that
It's
your favorite
so-
sport?
Oh, hands down. It's not even a question. I don't really watch other sports. I'm not like a sports zealot, but I watched the Bulls in the 90s, like would watch those games regularly. But I'd make it a priority. I watch the Dolphins in Turkey when the games are on in like the middle of the night. It's just because
Hell
That's
yeah.
devotion. You are
on
devoted.
a yacht, I'm like up there in the top, like fuck this signal.
Okay.
Goddamn fucking Mediterranean Sea.
I think I have a good question for you. You're like we were talking in part 1 of this.
Oh yeah, this is part 2, by the way.
Welcome
yeah.
to part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're flying.
Yeah.
But we were talking in part 1 about, your thoughts create your reality, your
Yeah.
beliefs create your reality. How do you factor that all in with all the sports fans?
Yeah. That's a great question. And
Oh, it has to do with what you were saying.
It
though,
exactly
the
is what-
vibe,
exactly.
the vibration of an organization.
It's mass consciousness focused on something out there, object wise. So there's two ways to look at it. There's one, your own individual experience. What have you brought, and what are you bringing, and what's going on? I don't fundamentally believe only me in this scenario is going to make the Dolphins win a Super Bowl
Yeah, because
this
you're
year.
a great manifestor.
I
You
am.
still haven't gotten them a
And
Super
I
Bowl.
really do get down on myself when.
And do
like,
you put that in your thing?
I
Have you
don't
started
write-
writing that in
no,
your journal?
it's
You
the
should.
It's too early. It's the
You
off-season.
need you need to start trying though. The Dolphins
win the
win
fucking
the
Super
Super
Bowl-
Bowl in 2024.
If they win the goddamn, I'm going to do that. I have never done that, and I am going to start.
I'll
How
root
could
for
you
'em.
not do it?
So I think with the sports fans though, it is like if the vibe of the team is such that the fans can collectively switch their belief into this team could really do it. And this happens sometimes in season. Like a team will go on a run and it's just like because everyone starts paying attention, be like, wow, this team is really going on a run.
Remember when the Giants took down Tom Brady?
Exactly. Like Tyree, like
I love
so
watching an
I was my
underdog
favorite. And I
dominate.
was saying even before that season that Eli Manning was the Dragon Slayer. I had been saying it the whole year. I was kind of just joking around. I was living in Boston. I hated the Patriots. I've always hated them. And he did it. I just think that like there's these ingredients that go into sports, which is why I find it interesting. It's more nebulous. You can't kind of like control it in the same way, like that you can't make your favorite team win a Super Bowl or whatever it is every year. It will not happen. You know that deep down. Even if you try to get to the root and change that belief structure, it's like impenetrable by like an individual psyche for the most part. I do think you can hop on timelines where your team is more successful. I do believe, let's fucking hope, that I have jumped on this because the Dolphins are definitely moving in the right direction. It's undeniable. The team they put together, their head coach, they're doing this in spite of having like one of the worst owners in the league, literally cost them a first round pick for colluding and trying to get Tom Brady. Like despite all that, they're moving, like the hard work is paying off. My personal belief with the Dolphins is that this narrative of suffering, I know and have known since I was a kid. This is my first like real imaginal act I can ever think of, truthfully. I know what it feels like when they win the Super Bowl. Like I know exactly what it feels like. I know what I'm doing. I know how I feel.
I think I'm gonna get a contact high from you when
And
they
so-
do.
Well, we'll be rooting for him.
I mean,
too.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
be at the fucking Super Bowl. You better believe it.
Hell
I'll take
yeah.
anyone who wants to come with me. And like, I truthfully like that to me is worth everything else. It is worth the years of misery where they were literally the laughing stock of the league. Like all of that stuff is worth the payoff of winning the Super Bowl and getting the national respect that I believe they has been lacking for forever. So
Or
I
they'll
mean,
become like the Miami Marlins and like become like a flash in the pan who
Right.
can like put together a winning team like every 7 years and they come in last place the next season.
I think though that in baseball, because of the parameters of not just like the contracts and the way the salary cap works there, that's easier to do in baseball. You can get creative financially. Teams in football have like philosophical approaches to managing cap and like how to like get a team, and it usually is like a long term plan, and you see it play out. Bengals are in like the apex of what they had been doing for years. They don't renegotiate contracts, they don't do everything. But I mean, yeah, I just find this shit all interesting. It's something also that a lot of people from all walks of life, socioeconomic backgrounds, pay attention to and can relate about. I've had amazing conversations with strangers in sports bars about like, you know, random sports stuff. And it's just like, it's cool. It doesn't have to be this horrible capitalist thing. I think entertainment serves a very important part in a human's life, and however you find it, truly enjoy it, like, yeah, it's worth pursuing. I think that's like one of the things very fifth house type of stuff in astrology. Like, get pleasure out of the areas of your life that you can find it, and don't think that that's a bad thing. And so I've just accepted,
Even if it is the opiate of the masses.
which is what I've heard from a roommate a long time ago. I think in some ways that may be true. But like for someone like me, like I'm so hyper aware of all of the horrible things that go into the National Football League. Like it's racist. It's racist. It's 100% racist. It's
Every
been racist.
sports team looks the trading. I mean, geez, even how players are treated. I'm like, is anyone else seeing this?
Yeah, it's wild.
bizarre.
It's corrupt. It's unfair. It creates physical injuries. Although I have a different stance. Like, having grown up in an age where like the goal was to hurt the quarterback, like that was the strategy. It's like, fuck that dude up. Now it's like the opposite. I think players, even if you're saying they don't really understand the ramifications later in life, like they know,
Yeah.
Tua knows that he's been getting concussions, and if he gets a bunch more, he's probably
Yeah,
going
I
to be
mean,
like
if
not in
you're
good
going to be
shape.
But how else is-
pro-choice, you're going to be pro-choice.
But
Their
that's
body,
a
their
choice.
Yeah,
That's
their
a
body, their
choice
choice.
for them to
But
make.
that doesn't mean we can't maybe make the rules or the protections
Well,
so
they're
that
doing that slowly.
like they shouldn't get back on the field after they've had a traumatic brain
I mean,
injury or whatever.
you know,
it
he
is.
came back and he played all right. That's the thing. Actually, every time he got concussed, he was so much worse. That was the worst part of it.
Okay,
They kept
well,
putting
when
him
he
out there, and he's
shoots
like throwing 4 interceptions. All of a sudden, I'm like, fuck this, man. Like, Teddy Bridgewater's
Jesus
bad, but he's not that
Christ.
bad. Put him
I
in.
mean, how many sports players need to shoot themselves in the heart? I think just the
The
one.
CTE stuff is troubling because it's a brain injury, and the effects of that are so. Like, my dad once got hit by a car as a pedestrian, and he had a brain injury for about 2 weeks. And he was a different person.
Yeah.
He was angry. He was just mad all the time. He kept thinking he heard the phone ring, yelling. He was a completely different person. So the brain stuff is very difficult because you lose the person even if they're alive, and it can be very upsetting for people who have to deal with that as families.
Imagine
and the person
being
themselves.
that person.
The person themselves. Although the people, especially with CTE, they do seem to be aware of it. It's not like, Alzheimer's or something else where you do eventually lose the ability to
right.
know that this is happening to you, or like dementia. But yeah, it sucks. But I think at this point in time, any player pursuing their dream, whether it's misguided or not, in that field is aware of that. I don't think they're compensated fairly. I think the way the league denied and refused medical care for a lot of these people, saying it was just a coincidence, that's fucked up. But that's the NFL. Like, it is a fucked
That's why
up.
we stopped watching.
Yeah,
Obviously, I
it's
can't support
it's
this
a
anymore. I
fucked
love
up-
watching it, but I can't.
And it will marginally get better. There are better people in the players union. There are people who are actually advocates. Players are getting smarter. I think when the NFL, it'll probably be a long time, moves to guaranteed contracts. That's a better case that this is a willing exchange for people, because then you're like, all right, you know what? Maybe I'm going to get fucked up because of the position I play, but I'm securing hundreds of millions of dollars for my family. Now, the way contracts are in the NFL, like, they're not guaranteed. You get a certain amount guaranteed, and then you're pretty much expendable in a lot of other ways. So, which is
fucked up.
unusual. All the
Yeah.
other sports are guaranteed contracts. You sign, that's what you get.
Yeah.
And the one where you can get the most seriously injured, it's not.
Exactly. Well, in a way, also, like, you can get seriously injured in basketball, but you break your ankle, blow out your knee. Like, yeah, it sucks. You might be not walking right, but, like, your brain isn't messed up. You're not.
What you need to
devastated.
do is with your boys is train them to be like a ace left-handed relief
That's-
pitcher.
So,
Like
Gabe,
where you're just gonna fucking rake in hundreds of
I
millions
know
of
it,
dollars
my friend.
guaranteed to pitch one inning every 4 games.
totally. Mariano Rivera, here's the thing.
Yes, exactly.
Like, here's the thing. He was right-handed, though, right? He was such a beast.
Yeah, he was.
But Gabe is left-handed.
Ooh.
There's a good chance Aslan is left-handed. He's still kind of young, and it does change sometimes. But yeah, fuck
You're
yeah.
gonna
Are you
push him
kidding me?
towards
That's
baseball.
the best fucking thing you can do. You just throw the ball fast and hard.
You never
and
even have
put-
to bat.
I want to be a closing pitcher. Is it too late?
That's what we're saying. We're saying like middle reliever, closer. That's
Yeah.
the career path that you dream for any little boy.
Look into the all-time highest sports contract. Like they're all baseball players.
course,
and
they're
like
all
a
guaranteed.
cricket guy gets in there, a Formula One guy gets in there, but they're baseball players.
Yeah, it's also the hardest sport to play.
Yeah.
Like objectively, like even sport athletes would.
I don't. Yeah, I guess it's hard to hit the ball that's going really fast, but I feel like, at least for me, I get very overwhelmed in contact sports situations.
Yeah, I mean, the guy almost died for the Bills this year. He had the cardiac arrest. People
Yeah.
were freaked out about that. Got on their pedestals for a little bit and yelled. But you know what? Like, that's a freak accident. It doesn't happen, and it is a violent sport. Like, they're the modern day gladiators. That's basically what we're watching.
Yeah.
And it
And that's
is-
why everyone loves it, and that's why it makes so much money.
and it's exciting. It is the
Mm-hmm.
way when you understand the sport and the nuances. It's really awesome.
What do you think of
love
the
it.
Super Bowl this year?
It was one of the best Super Bowls I've ever seen.
Very exciting, but it really felt like
It sucks that it ended on a technical thing that not a lot of people could
I don't like how it
understand.
ended.
I hate the
They were
Eagles,
just
so.
also such a well-matched team that
Yeah.
it felt like if they had another 7 minutes, it would have been the Eagles on top.
Well,
You
that's,
know?
7 seconds.
7 seconds or
that's
whatever.
how football is. I mean,
It just feels like it should be more. It feels like football should be more like basketball, where it's like we have. it's best of 7 or best of 4 or 5. You know?
Interesting.
No,
Yeah.
it's too brutal. You can't think it's they even moving to 18 game regular season's a lot. These people.
Yeah, the players fight against it.
How many games do they play a season?
16.
17.
17.
How is that possible? Because how many teams are there?
32.
So they don't all play each other.
No, of course not.
Crazy.
That'd be crazy. No, I mean it's just a fun sport. It's cool. I love it.
How are the
can't
dabs
stop.
treating you?
I love these dabs. That's why I ordered it.
When we showed up, I was like, I brought dabs, and you were like, I don't know if I've ever done one.
I really haven't.
I'm
Not like this.
It's kind of like VR. It's good. The longer you wait, like the better the experience is going to be for you. Because like dabs sucked before these devices that could like.
I didn't do them.
You had to have a fucking blowtorch and a fucking thermostat and a goddamn like a timer and all this stuff and marbles and like all this shit. Like this, you just need some Q-tips. You got to clean it out every now and then if you're good about that.
Pipe cleaner would work, huh? No,
yeah.
Q-tips you're saying with alcohol.
Yeah, I just put a little alcohol on there and.
I gotta get
every
dabs
now and then.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you make your own dabs, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that a thing you can
We
do?
could get into that.
How
I
do you
think
do that?
that's what
I
we
think
should
that's
get
what I'm gonna do
into.
because I can get bud easily. So like,
Yeah,
maybe
so
just make
can
your own
we.
dabs.
I think
Yeah.
we should do that. I think you just need like a hydraulic press or something.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I think it's a fairly easy thing to do.
It's a hydraulic. You mean
Like a rosin
smushes?
press. Yeah, where you just like you put like a pound in there and you
smushing
end up
device. I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, exactly.
Yes,
And
yes,
it just
yes.
does something to it. I don't know. But basically, we were saying like I don't know. For me, like I resisted them for a long time because it's also expensive, but they treat me differently. They give me energy as opposed to like take it away a little bit, you know. I think there's something about the concentrate and just like bypassing the bud completely, and you're just.
I
good.
like it.
Yeah.
It's clean. It's a clean high.
I want to learn how to make it.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna do it.
Well, that's the other thing. The old models of extraction, like they've come a long way, and there's a
Yeah,
way
of
to do this
course.
with water now, where you used to have to do it with alcohol.
I have a really good water purifier machine thing.
We'll use the purest water.
The purest of waters.
We'll prey on that water.
I'll order bottled water, and then we can make it like super fancy. I like it though. I gotta say.
This combined with this acid, I'm fucking flying.
That sounds fun.
On the last podcast, I was like, "Wow, we did it. We got through it. I held my shit together."
This one, you're like, I'm
And
not
then
so
I'm
sure.
like, I
You're
am
like, this one, I'm
fucking
way too high.
crazy right now.
It's a good time.
Yeah, no, I love it.
All right. Well, welcome to the Very podcast.
Now, that sounds right.
That's it. Oh my god.
That sounds right.
At the
Yeah.
end of the last one, I was like, all right, this one's that was good. And I was like, wait, not so fast.
Not so fast. You guys are getting higher.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. The way I think of it, if we're gonna do one for your podcast and one for the synchronicity, and
We're
one for
for
us.
the degenerates.
But doesn't it feel like you would first have synchronicities and then you would devolve into variation? Like that's what it feels like. Like I knew it. I was like, the longer we do this and the more dabs I do, it'll just fucking.
A little dab will do you.
Oh wait.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But you know us. We don't care. We're loose as fuck.
Yeah.
We don't even have 300 episodes yet. We've been doing this for
How is that
fucking.
possible?
We've been doing this for 9 years. I'm like,
No.
How is that possible?
That's not true.
like we'll stop for a while.
Maybe we started doubling up on. Maybe we've done.
No.
yeah, we're
I
probably on
miscounted
episode like
once.
400.
I don't think there's no way you guys haven't done that.
This is episode 297 or something.
No.
297?
yeah, but we.
That's not right.
I don't know.
It is.
I
Did you
don't know.
miscount?
Well,
That's
we
what
s-
I'm by 100.
we did
I've
100.
miscounted.
We did 100 episodes of the come up within the middle
That's
of it.
true.
Oh
So
my
like
God,
you know
yeah,
like
okay.
we've done
Okay,
other things.
That's what I'm thinking of too.
Yeah.
That counts. I mean, you guys have done as much. I do think
Yeah.
it's difficult to continue to podcast and speak regularly. It's something that most people don't do, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like podcasts don't last for 10 years for most people.
They run
Well,
out of shit
especially
to
when
talk
they
about.
start off thinking they know something. And we probably start off thinking we know something too, but now we're just like, we don't know anything. Hang out with us.
That's the thing.
But I'm thinking I should probably know a little more than I know.
Well, we know a good amount of stuff. We just don't feel the need to be like I would value. To me, I value a good time over someone that knows a good amount of stuff.
That's true too. Like the hanging out aspect, I think is more important for people Like it's the vibe of that is that's why I like streaming a lot, because like it is more of like a hangout that you can listen to music, you can smoke, you can have people ask questions. I was pulling up charts for people, just like shit you would do.
I want to get down with that.
It's
That sounds
fun, and
Yeah.
like that to me is more better than like I do that. Listen,
Yeah.
I know this. I
Yeah.
know that. Like, there's a time and place for that. If I want to learn something specific, but I probably wouldn't really necessarily listen to a podcast for that. I'd probably just get like a book or something.
Or
but
you would maybe have someone on your podcast. We've
did
done
that for a while.
We all did that. Like our how many? I mean, our
It's
first
nice.
200 episodes were guests
Me
only.
too. Me too.
And then
Me
I was
too.
just like,
The thing is, we get our guests too comfortable, and then they're like, you know what? Actually,
Oh, is that's happened to me a
it
couple
happens
of
to
times.
us too many times. To me,
oh my god.
I had someone who quit because she came over. This is when
What
I
do you
was in
mean
Maryland. The podcast. Like this is what happened. So
halfway through the podcast.
Come on, let him tell it.
wish-
This
Okay,
is
I'm
what she
sorry.
does.
I
I'm like, I
wish-
try to be cool, and Cass is like, stop, just tell me the end. Come on.
I wish it was halfway through. So I had this weed, green crack, I think it was, or something like that.
The good stuff.
And I was like, listen, do you smoke weed? And she's like, yeah, I smoke. I'm like, yeah, but this is really strong.
Oh,
So I go outside, smoke the weed, come inside. I had a really nice setup, 2 mics on stands on a table across from each other. And, I started off, I asked her a normal question. I was like, hey, thanks for coming on. She was like a nutritionist or something, and some spiritual thing with that. And I can see already, she's rocking back and forth like this.
Oh my god.
Like just looking as scared as a human being could possibly be, going like, and so then I'm like, what's going on? She's like, like, and I'm thinking maybe it lasted like 2 minutes. We ended up recording the whole thing.
No
with
way.
this going on,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
afterwards, like I drove her back to the train station, and
She was blazed.
I was just like, I leveled with her. And I was like, listen, like, like I can't put this out. Like,
Yeah,
and she's
yeah.
like, thank you so much. Like, I got really too high. I'm like, yeah, I know. And I was just like, I'm sure I have the recording somewhere. It's one of the funniest, like, it was really hard for me because you're trying
Yeah.
to not interview, but like talk to someone who's clearly like, who knows what's going on in their head at that point.
No, and they were just trying to be cool and hang with you. Like that's
yeah.
honestly, we've done that in our movies. And
Sean's done it so many times I could choke him.
Yeah.
Really?
I get so mad because we have these like amazing people, and he's like having them hit the bong with him beforehand, and then you just
Oh,
lose them,
right.
and I'm like, well, we just
Yeah.
fucking lost this scene that I coordinated.
That's the thing,
Yeah.
like,
We've done it with podcasts, but I mean, not too many of our podcasts have hit the completely like, oh, that will never come out. It's happened a couple times. We once had a guest like 15 minutes into the podcast, the thing just like we started arguing, and I was just like, stop.
really?
Yeah.
What did you argue about?
She was trying to. She misread the situation. Was trying to defend Cass, like white knight for Cass. Like, hey, just let her speak for
Look,
herself.
we have a
I
fucked
think,
up dynamic, and people don't like it.
Yeah, like people are like.
I'm like,
this woman was just trying
I
to be
consent to
like,
my fucked up dynamic
It's
with
like
Sean.
the honeymooners.
Yeah,
Bam, bam,
like,
straight to the moon.
I think she just didn't realize like how deep we are.
Sean
in
was
this thing.
basically like airing my dirty laundry
And
in
she
a way.
got upset
and she
about
was
it.
just like, I just want to can we just pause the podcast and make sure that like Cass consents to you sharing this?
What?
And
And I'm like,
I'm like,
oh, Cass
Been
didn't
in a
consent?
relationship.
I'm like,
for-
he has a blanket consent form. It's fine, but like, it just got into this weird vibe of like
She's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, and I was like, oh, it's all good.
Sean shut down.
I
Sean
just
Sag
couldn't-
mooned her ass.
It's
I just couldn't
hard.
do it.
It's
I was
hard
just like,
when
all right.
people are weird about that. Why would?
I'm like, don't come into my place and start like.
don't start
How
acting like my
dare
girlfriend's
you.
a victim.
Yeah, like we were having a good time, and it was such a fucking 180 that it threw me off. And
I was
like,
kind of charmed by it. I was like, oh, this is
Sweet. She really
Yeah.
cares for me.
Yeah.
What a sweetheart.
But we've had one where we got this dude too high, and he just didn't say anything the whole time.
So that happens.
And I just let him off the hook. I was like, yeah, I think that the audio didn't work out. And he was like, oh, really? And like, you don't remember. You didn't say anything. You sounded like shit. And then there was another one I did with a mutual friend, Zoe, where she was like, we've done this. Like, we're on acid right now. I'm on dabs, acid, fucking kratom. Like, I do these things drugged out all the time. I never really tried to podcast and ketamine at the same time. That's so stupid. But Zoe was like, we were doing a podcast. She was like, let's rip a couple lines like during it, and I was just like,
I don't remember that.
I never
bet
put it
you
out.
don't.
No one ever has seen
bet
it.
you
We
don't.
recorded for fucking an hour and a half. I was in a K-hole, and she didn't skip a beat. She just fucking kept going and going, like, you know her, like
That's
it didn't
impressive.
rattle her whatsoever. I was just like sitting there in a K-hole. I'm like, I'm not putting this out.
The thing
Like,
is, we genuinely have had times where the sound has been fucked up, and it is
Yeah, I've had
unfortunate
that.
when
Of
that
course.
happens.
Yeah,
Like,
of
so there are
course.
people that we haven't put it out with. It's because the sound did get fucked
No,
up.
no. You're just trying to cover your bases. Being like that, the people who are like, I just had a shitty podcast with them. They didn't tell me. No, I've had audio not work. I've had things where I didn't record by
Oh,
accident,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
have to go back and lie and be like, the audio didn't work.
Yeah.
It's like, I just didn't hit record on
Oh
that.
my God.
Sorry.
yeah, someone did
Um,
that to us, and I fucking was
It's
just like,
really not cool. 'cause
Never
it's-
again.
You can't capture the same energy when you're redoing
Oh,
something
yeah, I
from before.
know,
It's
yeah.
really hard and like, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's been pretty smooth sailing. But yeah, you just like for me, like at least what I've been doing for the past couple of years, if I have something that I feel like is useful to say, then I'll do it. And because of that, it's scaled back. Like 2 years ago, I was doing like 3-4 a week, like a
I
lunatic.
remember.
But it's because I had shit to say, and so I would hope at this point, like everything that I'm putting out at least carries that resonance. I have like a narcissistic thing that I can tell if like it's good. I'll listen to it. I don't listen to all my episodes, but if I can listen to it and I like get through and be like that was good, then I'm like that is definitely very good.
Yeah,
because
people
if
are gonna
I
love that.
can tolerate me talking
Yeah,
for 45
yeah.
minutes, then I'm sure that like it's palatable for like a large enough group of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's a weird thing to do, but it does fulfill some creative itch.
It's kind of like journaling.
It is like journaling.
It's like it helps me not take my thoughts so seriously.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't just because I don't want to repeat myself on here, so I
Oh,
just
we
try
do.
to get
No,
we
of
do,
course.
but like I try to keep it moving. So I'm not going to stagnate in any like I don't know just one area of thinking for too long because it's just like okay let's move on. I already talked about that. We already got into that like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So it's helped me with it's kind of probably like what you were saying about journaling.
It is a
really-
reaffirming way to like get your thoughts out if you're
Yeah.
comfortable doing it too. I mean, I think also we would all agree that like the best ones we've done of these like with anyone is like where the conversation is just flowing as it
Yeah.
would without it, and
Yeah.
you're unaware that something is even being recorded,
Mhm.
because those are, which goes back to my philosophy of I just want everything to be recorded all the time, because I think you'd capture so
Prince
many
style.
amazing things.
That's a Prince
Yeah,
did.
because it's fucking awesome. Like if you do that, like there's those moments, and I don't think everything should be like commodified as content or anything,
yeah.
but those magical moments when they happen are priceless, and I like that kind of idea of
yeah.
being able to do it. But
I remember being in our apartment at some point and just being like, God, I hope our neighbors aren't recording this. Do you ever have that moment where you're just like, I am not an advanced being. I'm not only basic, but I'm kind of a bitch. I'm judgmental. I'm gnarly. Like, I'm not in a good place. And just feeling like, God, I talk so much shit.
yeah,
If anyone were to record this, I would just be so humiliated.
yeah.
And luckily, I've become more aligned where I don't have those moments as much anymore, where I'm just like, wow, I'm not.
We also aren't sharing a paper thin wall with a neighbor in New York
So
City
maybe I'm not even
anymore.
thinking about it anymore.
Like it really affects your consciousness.
That dude was kind of weird, right?
Yeah, I mean,
He was pretty
we
chill and
were
normal.
weird.
We were weird.
Yeah,
we were
I can only
the
imagine what
neighbors
this guy.
from fucking hell. This dude really pretty much was quiet.
Except
He-
for the weekends.
He'd go out on Friday night from like 10 till midnight. He would just play.
I'm with it.
We once
But-
saw him out there.
Yeah, we were once out and like a party was starting at 4 a.m. We were out and he was the DJ and I was like,
Oh, no
that's what he's
shit.
practicing all the time. Okay, whatever.
Cool.
But this motherfucker we shared a wall with him for 8 years.
yeah.
He knew everything about us. I really didn't ever really know anything about him. Like, you know what I mean?
He
It
would
was-
talk about to his mom. Though.
He would
So
talk
he'd
to
be
his
like,
mom. No, what the fuck? Like, I think his parents were paying for his shit, you know? So, like, he would
I
get in
love it.
arguments with them every now and then. But
I love.
there was no drama in his life. He's hearing us go in and out of thruples,
Yeah.
fucking weird drugs, things.
Drugs.
Fucking the nitrous
oh,
tank.
the nitrous era of our life.
Like,
That's
I mean,
so funny to
it's-
think about.
yeah, that there's a dude sleeping on the other end of us partying till 6 a.m, finishing a nitrous tank. Regularly, yeah.
But man, those tanks.
Ooh.
Some of the best.
Did you ever
times.
get a tank up here?
I mean, a few
Oh,
people
over
at
there, yeah.
Dreamland did.
Okay.
I never did. I
It's
still
better
have a
that
ton
way.
of whippets and stuff. I haven't done it in forever.
The whippets aren't the same.
Oh,
like
no, of course.
once you've had like medicinal grade,
Trust
like a
me. I
fucking
mean, who you-
20-pound tank, like what they would be selling
I
on the lot.
remember the first time I was in Cali and you guys hit me up and I was very reticent, but I was like, all right, we'll do it. We'll co-invest in one. Denise still talks about like one of the best times of her life in her career of doing stuff was that weekend. With
Ween.
I mean, it was insane. It was like the most magical.
Yeah.
The vibe that
Really?
was created.
That's
but for
awesome.
her, from her, it's very high praise.
That's
This is
very high
long
praise.
career.
That is very high praise.
I-
Because she was coming in on something.
I
like she
know.
was approaching a
and I was like,
very weird
and Ween
scene.
is like, you guys didn't come the next night but you probably had your fill, you know.
That was like a bender too.
insane.
Wow.
I mean, we kept it going.
That is, but as for a girl who DJs and parties and
Well,
is
it's
very
been on the club
connected,
scene for 20 years.
and then I want just let me have this soak in. What did she
just
say
said
about
that
it?
like it was one of like the most magical places. She came to all these realizations. She's never felt like that on that combination before. It was like and I also realized that a lot about altered states. I was actually thinking the other day about our shaman times and how weird and like organic those. It's not about the substance so much. It's about like getting your consciousness tuned to a certain kind of level. And that's like the best part of doing these things socially that I've found. And that's not like necessarily drug specific. Like they can help create those situations. But there's a ton of times where like I've done other drugs and someone will remark to me that like, this feels like we're doing Molly. It feels like we're doing MDMA.
It's such a love vibe.
Yeah, and I think like that's what like frequency we're able to tune ourselves to.
Yeah.
And I think a long time ago I realized that like I think I naturally most of the time, all the time, but vibrate closer to that frequency. And so like that allows situations like I'm sure as you guys too to evolve in that way, which people
Yeah.
are really, if they're not familiar with, if your drug scenes have always been kind of different or just about partying
Talk
or
about
sex or
safe
whatever.
space. You know what I mean? That's what
Totally,
we try to
totally.
create, a safe space for people to explore their consciousness. And
Yes.
like the people we have around us or would want at our apartment, like you and like Joey and like Daniel or like
Josh Craig.
and Josh Craig, like
Yeah.
the brightest, most loving people you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And then we're like all loving on a band together on
Totally.
Valentine's Day,
It was so
right?
nuts.
God, it was so
We-
magic.
Our first tank of nitrous.
Right before they shut down the fucking world too.
Yeah.
Right. I thought we caused COVID. We had such a good time.
You're
that I
like,
was like,
"We
did we
do-
do this?
Everyone thinks they caused COVID because everyone collectively
yeah.
needed something
Yeah,
to
yeah.
shift
It's so true. That's a great
energetically.
point.
Yeah. But that was like the last good time. That was one of the best weekends I've ever had. We took Molly. I
too.
think we were doing ketamine. I guess we were doing
Yes,
ketamine
yes,
back
yes,
then.
yes,
Oh
yes,
yes.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
And
yes,
the
yes.
nitrous. I remember I had a screening of our movies, Joshua Tree and Sweet Nothing down the road.
Yeah, we watched that.
Yeah, we were
We
like
went
at
there.
the screening, and I had to leave in the middle of the screening because the fucking nitrous guy was like, I'm outside, and I was like, all right, and I had to like run over there and collect the nitrous tank and then fucking stash it upstairs, and like I couldn't even sit through the screening. I was so excited to go just fucking do that whole tank.
Man.
Yeah, it
Those-
was good. Ignorance was bliss, and then you start to feel into like, is this doing something to me? I don't know, but like
I was the first one to go. I was like, don't do this. We're not
Everyone
doing this.
naturally fell off though, I think.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think you can go through phases, but I don't know. It was a moment in time with those tanks that were just perfect. And everyone came out of it the same too. No one was like continuing on like their
No.
weird nitrous benders. So like it clearly was like a very pure awesome time. Man, that was
Oh
the
God,
shit.
Noah, you were the best. You know what nitrous is like?
God.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
You got to pick out all the weird
You were like
Spiritual
in the Matrix. Like, oh,
that's-
okay, hold on. Yes, okay,
Oh,
yeah, no,
But
that makes sense.
Except we do have that photo of Noah on nitrous with like a balloon in his hand, snorting ketamine, just like falling into the table, and then like Joey and
Shit.
Seabass trying to collect.
no,
you.
no,
Or
no,
that was
the
Joe.
other-
that's Joe.
that was
But you
Joe.
definitely
No,
did do that.
you-
No, you definitely did do that.
No, there was
too.
one time. I know exactly what happened.
I remember
it
this.
like yesterday. I was on a fair amount of nitrous, and I went and did a line of K, and I remember in my head thinking, "Oh, this is Brahma consciousness. Here I've created. I'm
Yeah.
a deity. I get it." My physical body at this time is falling over, coming about this far from the table. I realize it right at the last moment, and I come.
Yeah.
No,
And
you
you're like, I
he
was
did
fine.
not realize it. We
I
had to
did.
save his
It
life.
looked like
no.
he did a line and just kept doing it. That's what happens. That's what happens.
God, the
and it's
amount
so
of
funny. I would
times-
make fun of him, and then I'd be doing the same fucking
Of course,
thing.
it's
On
impossible
the
not
fifth
to.
the fifth balloon that Sean, or maybe it was the third, Sean would have a balloon, be filling up another balloon, lose consciousness
Yes.
while filling up the other
Yes.
balloon. That balloon pops.
Yes.
He did like that like 3 times, and then one of the times I was like, "We're not doing this anymore. This is done."
I'm fine.
No, I'm like, you're fucking done. You're cut off. This is
You're
fucking.
lucky you have her. I know this because, like, I know you and me, you've done this with many people, but late into the night, unrestricted, unchecked, it just keeps going and
yeah.
going and going.
We were up all night. Like,
I wouldn't trade it for the world, though. I mean, and I
It's
think,
like,
like,
no more.
the truth is like, it is, like, responsible. As crazy as all this stuff sounds, like, no one got hurt. No one did anything crazy.
I mean, who knows how many brain cells we have left?
I don't know if it even has to do with that. I also felt like a lot of those experiences were expansive for me in a lot of
Totally.
ways, like
Hell
spiritually.
yeah.
Like they didn't feel just like being degenerates. Now, there is a certain level of degeneracy. We acknowledge this when you're just snorting lines.
well,
of
we had to
anything,
push
but
it to the lines. Like, I think we
Yeah.
all did. We all
I
pushed
had
it.
some very like deep realizations
Yeah.
about life and who I want to
Totally.
be and what life is about. Like totally, I definitely took something away from all those experiences, and I don't honestly think
Yeah.
I regret it. I still have
No
my
way.
eyesight, thankfully.
What does that go? What does that go with
yeah,
nitrous?
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
It
Cass.
does.
I don't
It
know. There's some of
does.
these hippies are out there doing this shit for 70 years. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not doing
know.
it, but I mean,
I think it depletes your B12 to a dangerously
what
low
doesn't
level.
at this
Yeah,
point, right?
yeah.
I know.
Well, you guys are vegan too, right?
Yeah, we take B12.
I'm still trying to build it back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the B12 I know you gotta get. Yeah, I don't know. I always found those to be very, and like we were talking about, we don't really do it anymore. Either of those things. It's been a long time for me. It's
Yeah.
like you dabble here and there, but like
Well, we dabbled with ketamine. I told you I was scared.
I said, I haven't done it in
scared.
so long because it's just like something that doesn't. Well, I kept also having those DMT ghosts come back when I
Yeah.
done it the past. That's why I stopped doing
Ooh.
K. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stay away from this weird alien space for a little bit. Because there's something out there, and I don't need to
Yeah.
be going into that right now.
Something hovering
Yeah.
around my being
What
at all
is-
times.
I think what happened to me with ketamine is similar to what happened to me with nitrous, where it goes from expansive to contracting.
Yes.
And I don't want contraction.
That's
I don't
the
like.
ride of any drug.
Yeah, well,
That's the ride of all
I
drugs, and
didn't
sometimes
really
it takes place
experience-
over the course of a decade or,
Or a
2
lifetime
months
for
or a
people. It could be
lifetime.
anything.
for
Yeah.
people, for genetics like us,
Diminishing
it's like a
returns
8-month thing.
Yeah,
because we burn it out.
You
Yeah.
burn that. I'm okay with that way of being for me because it's like burn it out responsibly. Like don't let. Also, I think with any substance, anything you're doing, it could be coffee. If it's affecting your personal responsibilities and relationships, like don't do that.
Yeah.
That's
That one in
number one.
particular
That's
fucks
number
with
one.
my everything more than anything. If I drink coffee in the morning, like the world is getting a different version of me that I don't
Yeah.
particularly like, so I'd avoid it.
I
Yeah.
like coffee. I drink it. I go through phases with that too. I just feel like again, we were talking about it in the other one, but like it is your belief. You could have, you could be like Hunter S. Thompson. Hopefully you don't kill yourself, but like have the craziest drug, or Winston Churchill, craziest buffet
Just as
of
insane.
anything. And if you own that as an identity and feel comfortable in it, it shouldn't really fuck you up in the way that you would think it would fuck you up. There
You
could be
know-
someone.
Who's an incredible living example of this? Bert Kreischer, the comedian.
Well, he's
Yeah,
not
well,
that
time
old.
will tell
He's-
what
I don't
happens
know
with
if he's
him,
gonna
yeah.
last that long. my
He's
friend.
48, 49. Oh, I think he just turned 50.
He can party as hardy as anyone his age. I'll tell you that. But
yes.
that type of partying, I don't know.
There's no way it can last.
But there are people. Listen, look at like Keith Richards
Some
and
people
Mick
need,
Jagger.
some people
Yeah.
also need less. Like some people can operate well drinking and then having 5 hours of sleep. I personally will be
right.
fucked up for a week off that.
yeah.
I wonder
Um,
if we
Yeah.
believed differently about ourselves, if we could change that aspect. If you're
I
like,
don't
I
know.
just believe, but who you don't want to. That's the difference. I think
don't
you
know.
you don't want to. Like
Well,
if
you've
you
made an
wanted,
agreement at the highest levels that ain't right
Oh
for
yeah,
you.
well, when you grow up with a dad who drinks too much, you're just like
you're turned off by it.
you're turned off. You're not only you're turned off by it, but you have this inherent fear that you're like, am I like that? Am I someone who like? I mean, it was described very simply to me as like, there's the people who drink to a certain point and they're like, okay, I've had enough. And there's people who drink to a certain point and they're like, I'm going to have more. And it's just like kind of where your brain switches in that direction.
You don't strike me as an alcoholic. Your
I'm
dad
not-
doesn't particularly
I'm
strike
not
me as an
alcoholic.
alcoholic.
I'm not an alcoholic. I quit drinking after a bender, but I took 8 shots in the first 10 minutes of sitting down. Like, that's.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, this is amateur story. This is a high school.
Why?
This is-
Oh, that's high school. That's
That's
high
high
Yeah.
school, yeah.
yeah, she didn't know any better.
I once drank a handle of Absolute and had a really rough go of things.
Damn.
I could
Jesus.
drink like a motherfucker in high school. By far my best drinking days.
Yeah, that's when you're suited for it. Your body is ready for this poison.
I can drink now. You know what's really drinkable? I haven't done it in a little bit.
Mezcal.
But that mezcal. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what you always say. We have to have a mezcal night. I'm like planning my
Tess
drinking
is
nights.
ready. I mean, it's
You,
those.
I mean, you know how lame we are? We went out to a Mexican restaurant and Mare ordered a non-alcoholic tequila on the rocks and Cass ordered a non-alcoholic tequila
Because they have non-alcoholic
margarita.
tequila now.
gross, guys.
I kinda like
Who
it.
wants anything to do with tequila besides the alcohol?
That's kind of what I thought. The second I sipped it, I was like, whoa.
God
It's like brought back
almighty.
all those fucking, talk about ghosts. It's like with ketamine for you, like
Oh,
that's how it is.
alcohol.
Like alcohol's for me. I smell it.
It
I'm
really
like,
does
oh.
feel like with alcohol, like this whole thing of spirits. Like
Yeah.
you become porous. You make your body
Yes.
like welcome to
Yes.
spirits. And honestly,
Vulnerable.
I don't like the spirits that
Yeah.
inhabit people when they're drinking. I
That's fair.
I
But I
don't-
think you're open to everything. It's just where you direct that. It can be a creative vessel. I have found that. It can be a social lubricant in a positive way.
Oh, I love the rose-colored glasses you get. You know, where you're like, whoa. I remember drinking a couple beers I don't know, last year or sometime, and just being like, oh, I get this. Like, I get why people like drinking because it is like you're happy and things.
Someone just invited us out for drinks tonight, and we both got that like little
Yeah, I mean,
fucking
it's-
sprinkle.
Well,
in
because
our
I go in
grundle.
there and I say, "Do you have any non-alcoholic beer?" And they say, "Yeah." And they give you a Heineken that looks like a real Heineken. And you're like, "I'm a badass."
I'm a badass.
I'm a badass.
Let me get a candy cigarette.
Yeah, I do. I go into bars now and I order a non-alcoholic beer, and I feel drunk. I take 2 sips and I'm
That's
like, I'm
interesting, too.
drunk. It's
That's
so
interesting
weird.
too. That there is that kind of effect of being in the environment.
You're all like cocky. You're just like standing with a little bit of a swagger all of a sudden.
You get a DWI.
Yeah, the spirit stuff is true for sure. It definitely opens you up to the spirit realm, and I think each one probably has its associated kind of like energetic imprint, which is why I think different types of alcohol have different effects. You know, but at a certain point, if you're not perceptive of that, like we all know the qualities of alcohol, what they provide. Like it's not like nuanced,
Yeah.
but yeah, it can be really. Mezcal feels like a kind of like a very mystical. It's you can track its source, which I think is rare for a lot of things. Like you can go back, okay, this comes from like a maternal, like matriarchal system that we know comes from this plant in this place, and that's what you're getting.
It's like
that's
mushrooms. It's like the mushrooms of alcohol.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
talking about TikTok, which we did on part 1.
Yeah.
On synchronicity. No, I came across a TikTok the other day that was a woman saying, you know, things I now won't not do now that I'm a psychic medium or something. And she's like, ground my alcoholic beverages and do like a kind of prayer with the alcoholic beverages before consuming them.
That's smart.
Because you think about it, you're inviting spirits. It's this altered state. It is, it's like maybe you can, I don't know what people like to do. They go, you know.
Yeah.
A little torping and soplar
Yeah.
to just fucking scare them off. The pesky ones.
May this alcohol be in harmony with the
With the best night of my life.
with the best night of my life. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We've been with Mare for 2.5 years, and the whole time we've talked about getting drunk together. We
Oh, yeah.
treat it so much more seriously than any
Does she
psychedelic.
drink?
No.
Same as us. Like,
Yeah.
Except
We're-
she's different than us. We started drinking more after we were 21. She stopped drinking when she was 21.
yeah, she was like, I've
She's
done
like,
enough.
she was a alcoholic in high school. She's like, I'm over it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just doesn't care
I
about
drank
it, kind
a
of like
lot in
us.
high school. Wow, fuck, man. Yeah, it was fun in high school. Like that's what you had
Yeah.
access to too.
And
Like,
that's
it
when you're
wasn't-
feeling like you're being bad. And that's where you really need the
You
social
were.
lubricant of anything to like feel
sexy times.
sexy times.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think that it kind of creates that pattern for a lot of people, though, because I never drank in high school. So, like, I never associated alcohol with sexy times or making out with girls or being closer with anyone, like, or like But I do see people that have drank in high school. They get frozen in time and frozen in the hometown
Yeah.
mentality and trying to
That
relive
does
those good
happen.
I
times.
also think there's a lot of people, I would guess, who don't really have sex unless they're drunk.
Oh yeah.
I mean, drunk sex is
Oh,
not
yeah.
particularly like my favorite types of sex.
I
but-
can't remember having drunk sex.
I
I've done
remember,
it. I
but
know
it's-
I've done
We've
it. but,
had
like,
some drunk sex that I was like, this is a little freaky. I like
Yeah,
it.
it gets
You know what I mean?
gets looser for
Yeah.
sure. It
Yeah.
can get a little more wild. There's less boundaries, but yeah,
sloppy.
It's
sloppy.
I used to think that like, oh, I need to be drunk to like hook up with girls and stuff. And once I realized I don't, I was like, I never need to drink alcohol again.
You're like, this has lost its only.
And also the
function.
only
Yeah.
reason I will drink alcohol is if I'm not guaranteed to have sex. I'm like, there's no point in getting drunk. Do you know what I mean? Also,
She won't even touch it unless the sex is on the table.
Yeah, because
I hear you. You
that-
like the okay? That's cool. That's totally fine. The last time I got drunk, it was during the second to last week of the season for the Dolphins game, and I had scotch, and they lost in miserable fashion, and I devolved into
a crying baby.
the worst. My kids were here, and I just was like collapsing into myself.
Oh man.
Everyone the next day was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm sorry." I started hitting the scotch at a bad downward trajectory. It was
Oh
so
my
comically
God.
funny, and like he's just like, "I've never seen you like that. Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine." Like it was just this weird moment that I had to live out in the Dolphins' misery, back to my days of my 20s and stuff. It was
Jesus
hilarious,
Christ.
and
Wow,
never
you have
happens.
a lot of misery for all the shit you talk on the Jets.
Oh God, there's so much. There's so much. But I mean, and we lost to the Jets, I believe. No, we beat the Jets that week. I forget who we lost to. It was so bad. All they had to do was win one game. They eventually made it somehow, the playoffs. But yeah, it was like a funny alcohol experience that was like, thank God this is not my relationship to it. Like, like I usually like if I go out to eat, I'll get a glass of scotch every few times, and it's nice. I like it. It's cool. But I definitely could not be a regular drinker. I've never been. It's just something that's too taxing.
I
over
need
time.
to cut down on my judgment of people who drink.
Yeah,
Like
they're fine
I was on
too.
a business call today, and the guy was like, "I can't wait to drink this weekend," and I almost just like, I almost
Like,
gave him,
didn't
I
like
almost
it.
was like, "Hey, can I ship you some
Interesting.
Molly?" Like I almost just had one of those moments where I was just like, "Wait, what? You're gonna wait? You can't wait to drink? Wait, what? Oh,
Wait, why?
what?
What's wrong?
What's the
Are you
matter?
okay?
Yeah.
Is there a problem? Yeah, it is a cultural thing. I mean, it's the most easily accessible narcotic. I mean, that's the easiest thing you can find once you're 21 in this country. Even
It's also
before.
one of the most
yeah.
destructive, most destructive.
Easily,
Easily.
the most.
We spoke about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can literally die from alcohol withdrawals. Like,
And also what it does to families, what it does to relationships, what it does, how men and women are towards their children when they're drunk. It's
you lose the sensibility of like how to you lose the awareness of
and
how
you become
all the actions
you
are
can
impacting.
when you're stressed by the stresses of life become really unkind and a monster and be like, it's like very corrupting to be a child to see your parent become a different person.
Yeah, well, we were talking about that with the brain injury stuff too. That's the
Yeah.
scariest thing I think for anyone to have to go through, or hardest thing is when you see someone you love change their fundamental personality. It's very that's why schizophrenia is really terrifying for a lot of
Yeah.
people, because it's like you're moving through these different there's no like, who is this? What are they going to do? How are they going to react? That predictability or reliability is important for human relationships because it allows trust to be built, and like yeah, it's
And that's where you gotta also be sensitive to like people who take mental health or like take drugs to kind of level themselves out, because you don't know what it's like to be a different person or for their family to see a different person. It's like we think like, oh, we're all over pharmacologized. I do believe that we probably are, but it's also like these antidepressants save people's lives and their relationships and so many things.
they can. I
They can.
do think it's belief. I think it's like anything. It's like you have to hold yourself accountable, be aware of what you're doing, and then be aware of what you're believing and what you feel can coexist with each other harmoniously or otherwise. But like you do have to take that kind of like step to investigate any behavior that you're engaging in. Alcohol, Ketamine, yeah,
Nicotine.
Yeah,
As
nicotine.
Sean-
I'm smoking cigarettes now.
I
Yeah,
see
Been
that.
doing it since Turkey.
Have you tried one of these yet? Did
I
we
don't
give you
like- I
last
don't
time?
know.
He doesn't like it.
The last time we did one, the last time I
Every
did a
time you
sip,
try to tell me, I don't do it.
you have never tried it?
No, I'm not gonna do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. But the last time I did it was here, and I felt so sick after, and I was like, I'm never doing
She
it.
has,
Yeah.
she was like, I'm not
That's-
doing it.
That's why I
anymore.
don't do it, because that's always my experience with that shit. Like anything where I'm putting anything in my mouth that's like it just makes me nauseous.
Yeah, I could see it. It's just probably not
Even
for
the
you.
rape, that shit would fucking
That'll get you.
fuck me up.
We
That'll
gave that
get
to
you.
you.
Oh, so many times. And
That's
like,
how I ended up on these.
Have we given Noah Chilcagwe yet?
No, I don't want
They're a little
that.
spray.
No.
Yeah, no, come on,
The
Noah.
eye
For the
spray?
podcast.
Hell no. Fuck no, I'm not doing anything weird now. Are you crazy?
It's for the podcast.
For the podcast.
That's what you said when you got me on the DMT and K.
I did not say that. I did not say
This
that.
is for content.
I never
We
said
weren't
that.
recording. We
Oh
should
my
have been.
god, we should have
I
been.
would've
Mare was sitting
loved
there
to
with the
see
mic,
that.
like ready to lay down a fucking great line, and then you're like, "Let me just smoke DMT real quick," and she's like, "Okay, yeah, stand by." Watch Noah's the fabric of his reality get fucking torn to shreds.
Bye bye. Nothing.
You tried to make out with Mare. I had to. Sean was like,
I'm pretty
"Go
sure
get
I
your boy."
was convinced she was Denise at some point.
Oh,
I
yeah, it was like-
definitely.
You
You
asked
didn't
me
know
to-
the
who was
hair,
who.
I couldn't tell what was going on.
You asked
Yeah.
me to move in with you.
Yeah.
Thought you were Denise at one
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone who's a female definitely embodied any archetypal energy in my life, which is a common theme for me. I think a lot in psychedelics is like those archetypal energies that are pushed through your relationships in life. I always do seem to like they mush together in a weird way.
Oh yeah.
Not always comfortably, but yeah.
It's a thing I've seen countless times too when people are coming back from a particularly far out DMT trip is like them clinging to like who is who. Like do I have a girlfriend? We have cousins. Like who, like that, like just trying to get very basic shit in order. And I think that the wave of gratitude comes right after that. It's the stuff that really starts to wear off, and you're like,
yeah.
Well, because even visually, your reality when you open your eyes can be like a cartoon. Like you're like, oh, this isn't as.
I've never done it. I've
Defined.
smoked DMT probably 20 times, and
Come on.
one time I opened my eyes.
Really?
I opened my eyes one time,
It's
and it
so
was because
fractally and weird.
we were
It's like
down
a
at the park.
cartoon.
We had this pen, and I was like, someone had sent it to us. I was like, I don't even know if this works. And it was
I
just-
have those probably that same
We
pen.
should smoke the pen.
I
on
think
the
I have that
podcast.
same.
Yeah, Cass is a wild one.
Jesus.
But I smoked it, and I was like, whoa. I was like, all I could say, I was like, it works. And I handed it to Mare, and Mare did it and kept her eyes open and was just looking up at the clouds. And she was like, you have to do this. And so I was like, all right. So I smoked it again and got a blast off and just looked at the clouds. And it's insane. It's fucking insane. You can see what they're made of. You can see like,
The
whoa, those are
underlying
made of tiny
structure.
little patterns. Like they're dripping out of the sky and like.
cerebral patterns.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We met Steve Brule.
Yes, I know you guys. That's so cool.
Wait,
I
who's
remember
Steve
seeing
Brule?
John C. Reilly.
Oh,
Cass's bestie.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw those interactions.
we had a great time.
That's so bad.
Did we ever tell you we met Dean Ween?
No.
We did. Talk about manifestation.
When? I know. I
This was
remember.
this was like maybe the peak of our manifesting powers. We were just like we were coming out of the quarantine. Kurt Vile was fucking like our bestie all of a
Yep,
sudden,
yep.
which seemed like we manifested that.
Yep.
And yeah, Ween was playing 2 shows in Philly, and we were like, Kurt, let's go to one of the shows. And he was like, film me at the show. We'll go back and talk to Dean after. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
So we just brought our camera right into the show, got backstage. I was hanging out, smoking a joint behind the boognish that they have behind the drummer. I was back there smoking a joint. I'm like, this is a peak moment in my life.
So amazing.
works.
Incredible.
It really
and then
works.
fucking so we go to hang out with Dean Ween, and I was so nervous, and I was like, I'm just going to hang back or whatever. And I was trying to fall back, but then he was like, oh, no, everyone come in. We go in, and he just locks eyes with Cass. He's like, I know you. And he just was obsessed. He loves Cass.
He loved me because he thought he knew me. I don't know why, but he just like was like, we know each other, and I'm like, future
That's
memory.
so
I'm your.
cool.
Yeah.
We might have a love affair down in the line.
Oh, right down the line.
That's
Right down the
so
line.
cool.
Yeah.
That's badass. I love Ween. I hope they going back on tour? Or is it?
They play like
Just around
three.
towns.
They play residencies only. They go
Right.
into a town and play 3 shows once a month. So they'll that's like 36 shows a year.
I would love to go.
But
again.
they're going to be
We
playing a
gotta go.
festival.
Yeah.
We got to go.
We
Oh,
gotta go.
yeah, we got to
Oh,
go.
maybe
It's
we
so
could go to
fun.
that Scranton thing.
You were at our first. That was our second time seeing Ween. We've seen him 8 times now.
I believe that.
And-
Sounds accurate.
And yeah, we're going for more. We
I
made
would
it.
love to. I mean, they were one of the probably the best live band I'd have ever seen.
I
like,
can't
to be
imagine a better
honest.
live band.
That was the best show I've ever been to.
Yeah, it just
Oh,
I don't-
I'm sure Molly helped.
Sure, but
Molly,
like,
Molly.
but there
but
was
if they sucked,
many. The Space, by the way, is like one of my least favorite venues.
I
It's
I
hate
hate
horrible.
Terminal 5
5,
too.
yeah.
I don't. There's nothing good about it in
Yeah.
any way, and it was still an awesome show.
we were
Like,
the
it
heart
was-
of the show.
We
We
were
just
the
were in
Yeah.
the middle of the
Yeah.
crowd. The 10 of us,
which I
just like-
never do really.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was awesome. It was just they were really good. They played like almost all the songs I wanted them to play.
Oh, yeah, it was a
really
blast.
magical.
I have yet to see them play Demon Sweat, so that's what I'm keep going for.
8 times, and we still haven't seen.
Yeah, that's like a deep cut basically.
So fun times to be
Ween.
had.
Yeah,
Ween.
fortunes to behold, fun times to be had.
Thanks, Sean.
I got you, my love.
I think you just guys this writing down shit though. I am gonna do the Dolphins thing.
Oh yeah, so tell on our podcast your journaling or whatever.
You just write down pen and paper. Most important part, in my opinion.
Oh, you're not typing this.
This is how
No.
Noah is manifesting nowadays. You're getting the manifestation
exclusive.
techniques from the
This-
number one manifester we
your-
know.
Your
Yep.
iPhone will bill you $4.99.
If you take this advice.
So yeah, if you listen immediately, it just goes there into my bank account.
Oh wait, what did you say? You made an insane amount of money on the last podcast that we just recorded. So
Oh.
you're
Yeah, there
the
you go.
money maker.
Let's see.
Well, no, don't. Okay, yeah, let's tell
I
us.
mean, who knows? It could have gone down. This is the ride we live in. Oh no, it's gone up another 3. We're good. Life is good. It's hard sometimes, but it's good. So you write down, and this goes to like what I was talking about in the other one. It can be something as crude or as simple as money. You could say, I am effortlessly making X amount of dollars a month. I am blessed. I am happy. I am grateful. Whatever the things. It should be like you'll get a substantial list. It'll change over time, but do it every day. Write in a journal, and then just watch what happens. We were talking about how one of the best things you can do about one of the most useful things is that you see your reactions to what it is you're trying to claim or be. So if you say something, even if you really want it, but your natural reaction is to be averse to it or think that it's not possible, like, I don't really know. Like, you get to see that. You get to watch and feel that. And that really is helpful for, like, being aware of what your actual beliefs are, which can go overlooked, like, very
and how you're
easily.
resonating. Like, there's just so many things. Like, I think
Yeah.
we mindlessly sing along to songs that are probably not charged with what our body really
Totally.
should be.
yeah, no, I've started to be a little more sensitive to that.
Totally.
I played this song for Sean the other morning. I was like, this woke up in my head, and then I was like, immediately regretted it.
What song is it?
You're like it was like you're a liar or
Nice.
everybody knows you are a liar.
Oh, the evens.
And then I was just like, that was a nasty song to wake Sean up with.
No, it was a good catchy little number.
It was catchy, but it was just like kind of
Programming.
yeah.
it was just we're just waking up to everybody knows you are a liar.
It's a weird thing to wake up to. It's an
Yeah.
odd dream to come out of
Yeah,
subconsciously. Yeah.
No, but I've seen people do it with like rap music. Like I remember when we first started hanging out with Joey, that's all he listened to, and I was like starting to turn him on to like Ween and like some other stuff, and I was just like, I can't listen to rap because I don't like what they're singing about, and like it just brings me into a nasty headspace.
Man, I
and-
put on a Kanye song today, and I was like, damn, this motherfucker's so smart. You know what I mean? Like he just like one of his earliest songs. I was just like, man, he says in one song what we've said in 297 podcasts.
No,
yeah,
he's-
yeah,
he's-
exactly.
Kanye is really interesting because I really often talk about separating the art from the artist, and not all of his songs, but some that I used to really like when they come on now on shuffle, I'm like, I'm gonna skip this because it's not really like because of what he has brought to the table outside of this. It colors a song that maybe meant something different to me, which is unfortunate. But undeniably, like he's got so many amazing songs that
It's like Woody Allen movies. It's just like fuck.
It is
man,
like
this
Woody
guy
Allen
made some
movies.
incredible
You
movies.
can't
and,
deny
like,
it.
It's so weird to watch him now.
Well, Michael Jackson, now Bill Murray, I guess. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm
Please
not.
don't
I'm
ruin
not
Bill
accepting. But I don't.
Murray.
I don't even
Murray's
want to
got
know.
in trouble. He
We
did.
we reject it. We ignore it. La 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 la.
Yeah, I mean, your heroes are gonna fall if you idolize.
Well, you
them
just can't
first.
have any.
You
That's
can't
what-
You
I
can be
don't
your own hero.
be
Yeah.
your own hero.
That's what you can do. I mean, and truthfully, like you should be probably the star of your show. I mean, you don't want to be
Hell
a bit
yeah.
player.
Yeah.
That
Ew,
sucks. Like,
Totally. There was some guy or was some teaching about how guy traveled all around the world and realized he loved himself the most. And then I was
Buddha.
like, was it Buddha? It must have been Buddha. My Buddha wisdom's really on point lately. And then I was like, I got hip to it. I was like, I should love myself the most.
it's very important.
I'm the only person I really have control over. If I
You
don't
should be
love-
the most interesting person in your world.
I
you
should.
know? Yeah.
like that's not a fault. That's a good thing to love yourself.
It's
Absolutely.
incredibly, it's like vital, I would say, because it's like, how are you going to properly love anything else if you can't start with your own sense of being? Like that's your capacity to love anything is directly proportional to your capacity to love yourself. It may even feel like you love something more than yourself, but it's not true because you don't even know what that feels like until you can kind of like appreciate yourself on that level.
That's how a relationship that's this long can continue
sure.
to deepen and get more interesting
And you will
feel
know
like we
it.
just met each other.
Exactly. And you say probably the things that people say when they're really in love, which is like, somehow this is really crazy. Like, we love each other more now.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
What a
It
crazy
is
thing.
true.
It is true.
Of course, I know. Like, when you are in that real love, that's what happens. Improbably, because by all
Yeah.
accounts, you should be hating each other. Like, like we spent like
You should be so annoyed. We should be so over this.
and it happens, and of course you
Yeah.
go through those things, but like you genuinely like it deepens as an experience and gets more fruitful and like I don't know. It's like anything you properly love does tend to do that. It could be music, it could be anything, but like that's the relationship it has, or you have, and it can change obviously with anything. But yeah, I mean that's the power of what kind of I think generates all this stuff. It is that love and appreciation and like wanting to commune and be with. That's what our lives are.
That's what keeps the world going around. That's what prevents us from going into chaos. I was talking to Joey about this the other morning, and like I was just like coming around to a place I'm like, we don't even need laws. You really don't. Like it's kind acts and generosity and compassion and the little things that are making this thing stay on the rails each and every day.
That's
and it's all of our best
ultimately
instinct.
true.
You know? And is it because of a set of laws that you behave the way you do? You know,
No,
it's a hard question to
But
answer.
you could argue that the structure and people's belief that those laws are in place allow people to express those qualities.
yeah,
I
that's-
also often marvel that like we don't devolve into utter chaos at any given
Why
time.
people aren't robbing each other like
yeah,
way more.
murdering,
Yeah.
stealing, doing
Yeah.
whatever despicable things, and obviously people are, but it's a very small proportion compared
How
to like,
we've
everyone.
even allowed there to be billionaires. Like, it just shows a lot of restraint on the part of the masses, a lot of just civilized, like, okay.
I would be a billionaire. I could totally be a billionaire.
Yeah, I mean,
I would be
yeah.
happy with being a billionaire.
But the fact that that somebody could amass that much, using
Whatever.
exploiting all that labor
I
and
mean,
research.
you don't have to exploit.
I guess. I
You
don't
could
know.
be a billionaire
I get
without
depressed just thinking about it because if you're a billionaire, just think it's like a modern day king. I'm like, why are we accepting this?
Yeah, but I mean,
Fuck it. I ban billionaires. That's,
Oh, yeah.
way.
Oh, yeah.
No way. I would
Yes.
love to be a billionaire. And
Hell,
then you just
fuck
like
'em.
you just
No,
you could
it's
do whatever you
disgusting.
want.
It's
but you could
disgusting.
give all your money away.
They
You could
don't.
do-
It's
They don't.
disgusting.
No, not
if you were a billionaire,
you.
you wouldn't be a billionaire because you would have given your money away. That means you're not a billionaire anymore.
Well, you could be.
I think you should give away your money to
at
not
all
be a
times.
billionaire.
Yeah. I mean, I do functionally kind of live my life like that.
And
but
there
I
should
do
be,
think,
if there's any laws, a law that says, hey, and you have to, motherfucker. There's only so many resources here.
Yeah, we're
you
not
know.
You're not going through this life with $1 billion.
I see what you're saying. It seems
Yeah.
unfair.
If there's one law I could get behind, it would be making billionaires
You
illegal.
could have made $20 million per year since Jesus was born and still not have as much money as Elon Musk.
Is that true?
Yes. 20.
Sorry,
I mean, I
what's
don't think a
20
lot of people can
million's
fathom because
nothing.
it's
We
just
can't
like
fathom how
because
much
we
money
say
this
billion,
is.
million, trillion, like
Yeah, it's
the,
like
the leap
400.
from million to billion,
It's like 400 something million.
insane.
Yeah,
Like,
it's dope. I want to do that.
yeah.
I want to be a billionaire. Sounds fun.
As
You
long
just
as you
give it
got
all
us
away.
an apartment in New York City.
That's like that's what I'm saying. Like if we really want this, I guess I always thought realistically, not a billion, but that's possible. But like a few hundred million, you're probably coasting. Then you're coasting.
Well, for a
That
man with
easily.
expensive taste like yourself.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you gotta like. It would be difficult to spend that money over generations, in my opinion.
It becomes really easy, probably really fast, though, when you're like, oh, this boat is $100
No.
million.
Well, that's true. If you really want.
If you're like, want the top of the line
Shit,
boat,
you're right.
how quickly it goes.
See, that's why I need $1 billion, Cass.
If anyone needs $1 billion, it's Noah. Maybe you should be writing
Oh,
that in your journal.
yeah.
There you go. I'll
Just
write that.
me.
I'll write that in my
I
journal.
want to be the only one.
I'll jot that down. Like, hey, if there's gonna be billionaires, it has to be a Noah.
I think we should ban trillionaires. That's where I draw the
All right,
line.
cool.
we're getting there.
Someone will be.
Someone will
happen
probably
in our lifetime, yeah.
Maybe it'll be me.
It's just that's when it's just like, come on, what are we doing? What are
It's
we
a lot of money.
fucking doing
It's
here?
a lot of money.
You could do pretty much whatever money can get you. That's about the extent of it.
Yeah, you could be above the law.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely are. at
You
that point.
you're writing the laws. You don't even have to get to Elon Musk level to be fucking
You go to
writing
space.
the laws.
That's where everyone wants to go. Go to space.
I would
Everyone can
love to go to space, but I
Not
don't
me.
get why this is like the thing.
I don't want to go to space at all.
I think it'd be so great to go up in a rocket ship,
Hell
see Earth from a different perspective.
See that it's flat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're like, damn, what the fuck?
Damn.
Well,
This
do
whole,
you
the
know
whole
any?
time?
Do you know any flat earthers?
We
Yes.
all know someone
I
in
know-
common who
I
was
Dabbled.
going down who went down that
Wait,
path.
I've-
Cass put a
I
kibosh
said
on
we're
that
not
shit.
doing this. I'm
I
sorry.
also feel the same way. I just go, haha, okay, all right. I just don't.
We're like, oh,
it
you're
could be
serious?
true. Hey, it could be true. I don't really, realistically.
We are
it's
in
just
a
not
one-dimensional
road.
reality.
Yeah, one. We're
So-
dots. We're a point.
We're a
so I
point
don't
of
want to hear
awareness.
anything else. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like it's probably not probable, but who am I to say?
Well, we should spend the rest of the podcast explaining to you why we're not in a flat Earth.
Well, the person who tried to pitch us on Flat Earth was like, check out this compelling evidence. And it was a YouTube video that was literally a music video of
Nice.
drone footage.
Dope.
And it's just drones flying over the ocean. And it just keep saying, where's the curve?
Oh,
Where's the
no.
curve?
There's a song,
Where's the curve? Where's the curve?
I was like, oh my
You
god.
know, and it's like, this is your compelling
Like
evidence.
drones don't even go that
You
far.
sent this in a group text, unironically. Interesting.
Unironically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So
I
Cass
feel
was
like
like,
they,
we're not doing
someone
this.
must have some type of argument.
Yeah.
Also, I've heard it's a dome, like we're in a snow globe or something.
Interesting.
That's a thing.
I could get down with
We're
that.
going off the rails, boys.
No,
All
I'm
right.
just saying. Like,
You want to bring it back around?
I'm just saying.
Let's bring it back to reality. We
Yeah.
were talking about some really important shit a second ago.
Well, yeah. I just, it could be flat. That's all I'm saying. No, I don't know. I don't care, really. Honestly, it feels like a globe to me, but I don't know. Could be an octagon. That's
Yeah.
what I believe.
Well, I love being at the point where I'm just like, I don't even care.
Who
and
cares?
It's funny when
I
other
think,
people.
I think that's where people are getting so infuriated is because, and that's where the signs of like, I believe in science. It's like, we know that the Earth is round. We know that.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
been proven
Do you
many
believe
times.
we went to the moon.
That I'm not sure about. That I really am not sure about it.
How do we know the Earth is round then, Cass?
Just because how we get from point A to point B around the Earth,
Right, the math.
the math of it all. I believe in math.
That's
I
the
believe
sign
in
we have
math.
in our front
We
yard.
don't believe in science. We just believe in math.
I believe in math. That's it. Yeah, I don't know. I never studied it. I just, they told me it was a globe. I believe it's a globe. That's probably really where my belief comes from, which I guess is what drives flat earthers crazy, but it doesn't mean it's not a globe. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, I get that, like, well, you just believe that because you were told that. It's like, yeah, I mean, so do you. Like, no one knows. We don't in space.
We know it.
We don't know it.
That the Earth is round.
We think it. We don't know it. You don't know that. You just assume that it is. I'm not saying
Now
that
this
it's
is
not.
a compelling argument.
Okay, how about this? The mass conspiracy that it would take on every almost single person in this world to have it where you can't take a boat from X to Z to Y or whatever it is to make it so that It's like, oh God, I
I
can't
don't know.
even.
What if
Why,
it's-
I'm sounding stupid just trying to defend the moon. That's the
That's why
world.
the joke's on you.
This is why the joke's on me. I just
That's
can't.
why flat Earth is so funny.
Because
It's like
I
a
mean,
great, it's a
obviously,
litmus test. You just
I-
throw it out there and see anyone starts acting serious.
I do trust,
exactly. Yeah,
like,
I totally fail. I totally fail.
and I do trust like the images from NASA and stuff like that. Like I don't think they're fake. They could be, and it could be just a big propaganda wing. But like I don't have a
Be a
reason
very
to believe
big propaganda wing.
that. It could not. Who knows? They would have to be cross global because there were space races for all this stuff. So that seems improbable. That like there wouldn't be one country
Pretty
being like,
improbable.
no, but who knows?
We like to
So
keep
it-
open all possibilities.
Yeah,
Let's keep our hearts open.
Let's keep it open on.
I don't
whether
want to be
it's
too
flat.
judgmental
That's what we
about
get
what
on Very
this
Ape.
thing
Anything's
is.
possible.
I would say this: if I did believe it was flat, I would never tell another human being that I thought it was flat. Just because,
No.
like, that's like you're not opening up any can of worms that's ultimately good there. It's like
No.
no one's having a pleasant conversation after that.
You're
but-
just looking to not have pleasant conversations if you're
Right.
going around talking
Right.
about that shit.
right.
you
Like
know?
that's your belief. There's so
Yeah.
many other things to believe in.
It seems like an Ali G sketch.
It really
you
does.
I
know?
do.
It really feels like they're testing our stupidity.
Yes.
Like it
with
feels like it's
that
a
one.
mass. Like how stupid are people?
What's the weird?
you
What's the
know-
craziest thing we could convince them?
I
Yeah.
don't think the Earth is flat, but I'm very sure Mars is definitely flat.
Yeah.
I think they've proven that. The
Oh, yeah.
scientists, those pictures.
Where's the
It's
curve?
flat.
That's
There's
all I
no
ever
curve.
say. Yeah, I always look at it and I'm like, "Where's the curve?" I thought this
So
thing was
I
like
know
a
that
red ball.
we can trust that. That would be hilarious if there was legitimately someone who just thought Mars was flat because of
Flat
the
Mars
pictures.
theory.
So they believe you can go into space.
Also, what's going on with the sun and the moon if the Earth's flat? Is it where is how is that working?
Those are also flat. And they're
They're
just
Yeah.
going flat. It's like a
Yeah, like this.
Yeah,
like a Atari.
But like
Donkey
That's how it
Kong.
goes. Yeah, Donkey Kong ladder.
Jesus
That's how it
Christ.
works. That could be it.
Oh man.
We could just be a pixel inside of Donkey Kong.
I kind of believe that more than
hammer.
anything. That's when I was saying we're one dimensional. I probably believe like that's when I'm like, okay, you're right. Nothing's real. It's fine.
It's all real, and it's all not. Who
Mm.
knows? I am curious to see what happens after we die. Not in like a I hope it happens soon type of way, but like that would
I
be.
do think about it a lot
it
It's the
would be
best.
really
I am
interesting to
very
know, right?
curious
Like
if-
to know.
because I was thinking about. I think they did a when they were doing guillotine people.
Yes, the head would still perceive, right? And
Yeah,
talk.
where they would say like blink this many times if X or Y or Z. You know, I was thinking about that actually
What?
today.
Are you talking about?
Yeah, that's the thing. I've not heard it specifically like
I don't think it was specific. I think it was more like blink 3 times if you're still conscious.
I didn't hear that. I
they
just
talk
heard
to a
they
dead
observed.
I'm making it up.
Yeah, you're
I,
making
I
it
am
up.
making it up. I
She's
don't know what it
making it
is. I don't know what it
No,
is.
this is
But
not
there
real.
was. But we both. I don't know if it's
Is-
Mandela effect or whatever it's called, but we do know that there was something done when people are guillotined that they might still have
There-
consciousness because of how their eyes are moving.
No, I heard it was like a chicken with its head cut off. Like,
Yeah.
There's no real cognitive processing. It's just their movements from the brain.
Well, that's why my theory would be like, say, to the guy who's about to be beheaded, blink 3
Can you
times.
imagine being beheaded? What a horrible fate.
And then, but then, what do you? And then I was thinking about that. What are you experiencing when you're beheaded? Like, are you
not
your
a
body,
good
or are
time.
you your head? And where's your perspective? And do you immediately leave your body? Are you looking down on your body? Are you everything? Like, what? Where do you go? What happens?
Maybe you were executed in a previous incarnation or future one. I don't know.
That's why I'm fascinated with it.
it's well, I don't know. I don't even want to imagine being beheaded.
If you guys keep running your mouth about this flat Earth shit, you might
Yeah, they'll
fucking
get you.
find yourself
That's
in
what
that
they
kind
do
of
now.
situation. They don't want serious intellectuals like ourselves
That's
taking
the
on this
thing.
subject matter.
That's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Thing.
Yeah,
They
we
really
really-
care about our opinions.
Yeah.
Jesus
The
Christ.
NASA Illuminati elite. Well, this could be.
This
I don't
is
know.
what dabs will do to you.
Do you
This
think,
is what Dad's doing. I think that's.
Do you believe in 9/11? Like, was that an insider thing?
I believe there's some
Man, there's a lot of
funky
suspicious
business.
shit
It's
around.
funky, right?
It's
very
I think like
funky.
on a very zoomed out level, like it's very funky. All
From
of it's
day
very
one, I was
funky.
like, they shot down that one plane. That's and I get why we can't admit to that. They shot down a passenger plane that was destined to
yeah, that
try
was
to hit the White
probably
House.
a good idea not to admit that.
The
Yeah.
other one.
Yeah, the one that was like
That's
landed in a field, the
believable.
one where they made a movie. and
Yeah,
like,
yeah, the Pennsylvania one.
Yes, that.
yeah.
I think we knew it was going to happen. I think it was a convenient excuse to get everyone scared and to pass a lot of weird
Like they let it happen
legislation.
because all those people had passports.
Crazy
and shit.
transference of wealth goes on. Wars that don't have to end get started. It's just all too convenient.
It's very convenient.
It's all way too convenient, and just that's not even to mention like all the weird conspiracy theorist shit that I haven't even looked into.
I'm not really
enough.
into all that stuff. I
Me
mean, like,
neither,
why
but
did one building not go down, or why did a bunch of them
I
go
can't
down?
get too in the weeds
I
with
just
that
can't
either.
even bother. Because it's not. I don't believe these YouTube people. It's such selective information. When you're watching a YouTube video, they're trying to convince your mind with selective information, like where's the curve. It's like, don't believe any of this bullshit. This is all every YouTube video is bullshit, including this
just
one,
try
especially this one.
to do the George Costanza the opposite and believe everything in YouTube and see how that goes for a couple weeks. And
You should
just,
have
like,
probably a lot
fully-
more fun than like
Yeah.
having all these filters up all the time.
Just
It's like
like-
critical thinking.
I just adopt every alternate belief for a week. That'll be the next thing we do on synchronicity. I'll just be like, do the opposite of every core belief.
That's when
you have.
Noah was loving to watch Fox News. He was like, I
Wow,
love
but
Fox
can
News.
I tell you something? Fox News was amazing back then. During the pandemic and
course.
Trump, it was so funny.
Yeah.
Just because, like, the thing is like what you would imagine it being from someone who doesn't watch Fox News is the opposite of what it was. Because for once, a lot of what they were actually saying kind of made sense.
Yeah, right.
Because, like, they're like, people are losing their fucking minds.
Yeah.
And they would have the liberal people come on and talk, and it was more objective than people would think. It was just like, that's when I knew it was like, all of this is just real entertainment. And it's just
Yeah,
like,
totally.
you can't
Yeah.
believe otherwise at this point.
It's just
because
bad entertainment. That's my problem. I'm like, I get that it's
Trump was
entertainment.
entertaining, though. That's the thing.
No, I
That's the
know.
thing.
But I find it so
Crude.
crude on the senses. Like when you go into like, you're like, oh, I'm getting my car fixed, and you have to watch whatever news channels.
Oh
You're
my
like,
God.
or when you're at your parents' house, you have to watch whatever news channel. You're like, this is the worst ever.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not
just
great.
they repeat the whole things. It's all shock value scare tactics. It's all
January
breaking
6th,
news about everything. It's just
Still breaking
like-
news about January 6th.
it feels
somehow.
like being at a slot machine. Just like, okay, how quickly and how much can we stimulate you?
and confuse you, and then we'll hit you with a bunch of symptoms that you probably have from being glued to this thing all the time. And inconveniently, our sponsors have a solution. Here it is. It's just
Pharmaceutical
fucking
ads are
twist.
weird.
It's all it is.
So weird.
It's all it is.
We're the only country that allows
know.
direct to consumer advertising
know.
on
Yeah.
pharmaceuticals.
I know.
So
it's
fucked
really
up.
fucked up. I know. It's not cool. It's really not
Why
cool.
would you need to advertise medication to people? Wouldn't you go into a doctor?
Of
They would assess
course.
your symptoms, and they would say, "Here's the thing."
You're like,
Yeah.
doctor, I want this.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw it in a commercial.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how they get them.
You'll be happy when you'll be healthy. This and
Yeah.
it's like
And then they have to read all the fucked up side effects
Yeah.
Oh
at
my
the end.
gosh.
Yeah.
It's so fast.
Well, now they're coming out with one for obesity, and it's
Ozempic.
They're saying it's
The
going to be
diabetes drug.
the highest grossing thing in human history.
It's like Viagra for fat people.
There's a,
So do we know how it works?
Yeah, it just it like
Just takes after
increases
your liver.
insulin and it suppresses. Yeah,
So you still eat
it
the
grows
same.
a third head in your body and it eats the food.
But do you still-
instead of you?
You still eat whatever you want.
No, people don't eat because it suppresses their appetite.
Yeah, you don't care.
Oh.
You're like, I don't care about food no more.
So it's basically like Adderall.
Kinda, yeah.
That's always been the solution in a pill for
but Adderall
for
has the
obesity has
stimulant
always
effects.
been fucking meth.
So it's Adderall without the stimulant effects. It basically is.
Yeah,
just
it's just like you're not hungry. You're not hungry no more.
Everyone's gonna
fatty.
be on this shit.
Well, it is a real medicine for diabetic patients because
Yeah.
it does something with your insulin. It like regulates it so you
But
don't
then
die.
they found this
But
side
then
effect.
fatties were like, I have an idea. And
Yeah.
then sure enough, I don't think I would do that, but if it was a pill, I would do it. I just don't want to inject anything in me.
Oh, it's gonna be a pill.
I'll totally take
It'll
that
be a
shit. If
pill.
I got too fat, I would totally take it. If I was like,
Everyone will.
you know what I would do, honestly? I'd be like, listen, just bear with me over the next year. I'm going to eat like a madman. And then
well.
I'll just take this pill and go back.
So is the only reason we get in bad moods when we're hungry because we're hungry, or like bad moods when we haven't eaten? Is the only reason we get in bad moods when we haven't eaten because we're hungry? Not anything else. It's just so you just like chill. You're not like
Yeah, I think you wouldn't.
your body's
you wouldn't
malnourished.
be
You're
in a
just
bad
like
mood.
you're just chill about
No,
it.
you wouldn't be in a bad mood.
Mm,
And
interesting.
if you are, there's something for that.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
about
they'll
it.
have something
Don't
for
worry,
that.
because
Don't worry.
this is going to come with a cocktail of other things
Totally.
And it's gonna be bad.
to regulate
Totally.
everything.
But
it's
it
all to just
is-
work around having a little bit of discipline and some practices in your life.
That's a hard thing to do, my
Especially when
friends.
they want you working every minute of your life
of
on
course.
like at however many jobs, so they don't have to pay you health insurance
Yeah,
or
the working thing
paid
seems
leave
like a
or anything.
scam.
Definitely. Yeah. And if more people woke up to that, like we
But you
could
have to
change this whole
believe
thing
there's
overnight.
another better way. That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
I believe it through crypto. I believe it through whatever means I've monetized things in the past, community based.
Yeah.
You know,
Art.
art, working with people to help them, like whatever it is. Like you got to believe that if you want to unplug from something that binds you to. And also, truthfully, we got to admit this. Some people like jobs. Some people
Oh, yeah, no,
legit like
yeah,
jobs.
hell yeah.
And it's cool that they like jobs because I don't want to do them.
Yeah.
So I hope people like them. But
Yeah.
like some people do like the regularity, the ability to go into a pattern,
structure, the
structure,
community.
the rewards if they feel they're sufficient for their lifestyle. Like not everyone has dreams to increase their quality of living.
Yeah.
And that's cool. That shouldn't be, admonished, but if you do and you feel trapped, that's not good.
Yeah. Well, I think this is what a lot of people realized over quarantine. Like, oh, my life was out of
It's just really,
alignment.
it is hard to make it work. Like, we're navigating. We want to work on things that we care about. Like, it's not like we don't want to work. We're working every day, but we're trying to work on things that we care about. And right now, that's not. We're on the pathway to making that make money. You know what I mean? And that's
Well, you
what it
have
feels like.
to-
You have to be able to have the space, have parents who can
invest.
host you, to invest in yourself.
Well, I would say this. You have to acknowledge that it is already true in a reality and you do already possess it and then be comfortable with letting that play out.
jumping
That's-
into that timeline.
That's
that's
what
the
this
trick.
past year has really been for us. It's just like free falling, baby.
You got to hear your friends and family congratulate you and say how awesome it is fully in your imagination or your consciousness and believe that and then just wait. You have to be comfortable with waiting and being patient and see that's really what. And if you think about anything you've ever done in your life, that's kind of how you did it, even if that's not specifically, but you got to the place where you believed it with that level of conviction. That's the point that I'm trying to make there.
And it takes discipline. There ain't no pill for that yet.
Yeah.
No, it does. It
You're
does.
training your thoughts.
That's why I like the writing down stuff every day because it is a way to practice that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also like it's a meditation on what do I care about daily,
Totally.
which is probably very valuable.
Very powerful because I would hope that we're doing things that we care about or are important to us in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This has been really fun, Noah. Thank you so much.
We did a double header.
Thank you.
Double header for part 1.
For part 1, check out
Synchronicity.
the description below. Whatever one this is, check out the other one. We just did 3 hours. So
So
Did
if
we
you,
really?
or if
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
very whatever.
That's so.
yeah, check it out.
Cool.
Patreon.com/churchofchill, patreon.com/sync.
Synchronicity.
Synchronicity. You got
That's,
that?
Wow.
That's
Good
pretty
one.
good. Cool.
Pretty good.
We love you, man.
Good.
Love you guys.
Good,
Love
good,
you.
good. Peace, love, and magic, y'all.